Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison heading to Washington for the first in-person meeting of the Quad bloc. The key meeting is scheduled for Friday.
Washington is all geared up for a mega geopolitical event. The first in-person summit of Quad leaders of India, United States, Australia and Japan. The summit marks a major milestone and coming of age for the grouping, which has been in works for some time now. One of the key focus areas in this summit will be the Indo-Pacific vision, which is being backed by India and the US among other countries in the region.
He will participate in the first in-person Quad Leaders Summit in Washington on September 24th. On September 25th, he will address the UN General Debate of the UN General Assembly at its 76th session. While Prime Minister is in Washington, he will also have a bilateral meeting with President Biden. We also look forward to bilateral meetings with other Quad leaders, time permitting, as well as bilateral meeting with some other leaders while he's in New York on September 25th.
United States is the first host of the Quad and President Biden had taken a lead on it early on. White House in a statement reiterated the Biden-Harris administration's priority of engaging in the Indo-Pacific through new multilateral configurations to meet the challenges of the 21st century. A host of issues are on the table for the Quad summit, including maritime security, cyber security, critical and emerging technologies, connectivity and infrastructure, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, and climate change. Washington will also see first in-person bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Biden. Prime Minister Modi and President Biden have spoken 3 times so far and participated in Quad leaders and climate leaders virtual summits chaired by President Biden this year. From Washington, the focus will shift to New York later in the week, where the world leaders are converging for the United Nations General Assembly session. Prime Minister Modi will also address the 76th session of the UNGA.
Let's cross live now to WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sabal, who's joining us from Washington, DC. Just tell us what effect the new US, UK, Australia defence deal will have on this Quad meeting later on this week.
Well, when it comes to the Quad meeting first, this will be the first in-person Quad meeting which will take place in the White House, and this is in a sense a formalization of a grouping that was being discussed for a long time. Remember, Quad is not new in terms of what they have been doing. It emerged out of the 2004 tsunami, and there have been on and off attempts, half-baked attempts sometimes on the group getting formalized, but now this year we have seen a formalization happening. But talking about the AUKUS, the UK, France, UK, Australia and US agreement on subs, the subs for Australian Defence Forces. This is something that is a booster shot in a sense, because Australia is a Quad member country, and the increase in defence capabilities of Australia helps the other Quad countries. But if we talk about another country, that is France, which is an ally of all the Quad member countries, including with the UK, they of course are not very happy about the development, and there are fears that this could impact their engagement in the Indo-Pacific. But if we look at the plurilaterals which we have seen recently, one of course is between India, France and Australia. This has been moving rapidly. It was at the official level. Then, of course, we know that the foreign ministers of these 3 countries met on the sidelines of the G7 in London. But now the big worry is, will the leaders meet on the sidelines of the G20 summit that will happen in Italy next month? So it looks like there will be a shadow of AUKUS on that trilateral rather than on Quad. Quad is something that is being talked about for a long time. It is a grouping, a diplomatic initiative that focuses on things like vaccines, on helping countries amidst any humanitarian disasters, especially in the Indo-Pacific. We know that the Quad meeting, the virtual meeting, happened on 12th of March, and the key outcome of this meeting was the Quad vaccine initiative under which American COVID vaccines will be manufactured in India logistically and financially supported by Australians and the Japanese. So what Quad basically is trying to do is convergences of these four countries over various issues that the world is dealing with. That remains the big focus. Of course, Chinese are not happy with it. China has been calling Quad as Asian NATO, something that has been dismissed by Quad member countries including India. In fact, the Indian External Affairs Minister recently, in response to a question, said that calling Quad as an Asian NATO is a Cold War mentality.
Siddhant Sabal, thank you so much.